Speaking for myself, I do not want to wake up at 5 a.m. in order to have a productive morning routine. That's just not my thing. Hello and welcome. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the importance of having a routine, why I think that you should make a routine for yourself if it's something that you don't have in place yet. I know it's been popular at the moment to see all these like productive morning routines, and that just might not be what you have time for. Speaking for myself, I do not want to wake up at 5 a.m. in order to have a productive morning routine. I think we should get away from the idea of always being productive with your time. So if you're scared by the word routine, or like me, have been hesitant in creating a routine for yourself because you didn't like the idea of it being constricting or having to be something that you follow through every day or having it feel like a chore, do not worry. It doesn't have to feel like that. It just helps to have a little bit of structure, and I think it will really benefit you. I think it's really important to have a routine because if you don't have one, your routine will choose you. Let me explain. You've probably heard of the saying, what's your thoughts for they become your actions, what's your actions? I'll put the quote on the screen. You may have heard of this before. This is basically what I'm trying to say when I say that your routine will find you or choose you if you are not intentional about it. You will find yourself falling into patterns or habits that you do every day, and they may not be ones that you want, but because you don't have a routine, they become your routine. So if you're not intentional about having a routine of your own, you will still fall into a routine. I remember being like, well, I don't want a routine. I don't want to have to do the same things every day. I was still doing the same things but it just wasn't what I wanted to be doing. I was not intentional. I've talked a bit about my addiction. Exactly the same. Like, I didn't have any kind of routine and I didn't want one. I thought it was boring, it would make time go faster, didn't want it. What ended up happening? I was in a cycle anyway. I ended up drinking every day. That was my routine. I'm not saying that having a routine would have prevented my addiction, but I just wanted to use that as an illustration that if you don't have a routine intentionally, you probably still have one. You probably still have things that you end up doing every day, and they may not be things that you want to do, but you've just got yourself into the habit of doing them. So you need to have a routine, because otherwise your routine will find you. I would add to this that a routine means that things will become automatic for you. So whatever you want to get done in the morning or in the evening, it will become a habit if you put it into a routine that you do every day. This is a good thing because it works on the principle that sometimes you have to put in action first before you have motivation. So you might be feeling really unmotivated to work or to go for a run, go for a walk, whatever it is that you need to be doing. But if you just start that thing first, you will eventually get into it and get into momentum, and your motivation will come after you've started doing the thing that you need to do. Having a routine means that you're not relying always on being motivated to do a thing. It means that you are doing whatever is part of your routine automatically. This is really helpful if you are someone like me who tends to overthink things or who has a tendency to rely too much on their emotions to determine the way that they act, because having a routine means that you're removing your thoughts and you're just relying on actions, and you're taking action regardless of how you feel or what you think you should be doing. You're like, no, I do this. This is just something that I do as a part of my day. I always get up and I go for a walk automatically. You don't think about it. This is just what you do. It might take some getting used to. I remember the first few weeks that I decided I was going to get up and the first thing I was going to do was to go for a walk. But it was quite difficult at the beginning to get into that and just accept that that was what I was doing. But very quickly, it became part of my routine. I pushed through taking that action consistently, and now it is automatic. No matter how I feel when I wake up, I know what I do in the morning as I go for a walk. It's something I do reflexively, and you can use a routine to your advantage to get yourself to do things that you don't necessarily always have the inclination to do. So if you want to start going to the gym, or you want to start writing every morning, or whatever your passion is, and you want to create time in your day to do that thing and you're not always feeling motivated to do it, set aside time where you're going to do that thing for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Forget about any motivation or, oh, but I don't feel like doing it today. Just get into the habit of doing it every day consistently, and you will build that into your routine, build that into your day, and it will become automatic and something that you just do. But we don't want to always be thinking about a routine as a way to make yourself do something. I would also stress the importance of having a routine because it will give you some comfort and some solace. So for me, routine equals rest. Every night I switch off my computer at a particular time and I spend some time journaling. Having that routine of, I know I journal every night and I know I have my cut-off time, that's a good boundary in order to put myself first and be like, no, you need to prioritize sleep. You don't need to be focused on working, even if it's working on creative stuff that I enjoy, or if it's working on stuff for my degree. It's important to have that boundary, and I keep a promise to myself, and I'm like, no, I'm turning my computer off at this time and I'm focusing on reflecting on my day instead and taking some time just to be and to think about my day and to focus on things to be grateful for. So in that sense, my routine brings me comfort, particularly with my evening routine. I say routine, I use the term very loosely. It's just basically a few things I do. I'm not super strict about times or the order things have to be done in. The only time I am strict about is the turning off of my computer. I try to do that at 11 o'clock. I do allow myself some leeway, but as I said, it's important to keep a promise to myself and have that as a boundary and have that as something where I'm showing up for myself every day and taking care of myself and putting myself first. But I know that when it gets later in the evening, I can look forward to that time where I've switched off my screens, and it's a comfort for me to know that I have maybe 10 minutes every evening where I'm just sitting, thinking about my day, writing about what I'm grateful for, what good things happened today, and also what I can do better tomorrow. My evening routine, my journaling routine has become something that I look forward to and I can take comfort in and that I can rest in. Having a routine is really important because I always know that I have that space at the end of the day to just take a minute. If I've had a really hectic day or a really emotional day, I know I have that space. I was someone who didn't really think that I wanted a routine or needed a routine, but it is now something that I really look forward to. Having a routine is self-care because it's putting structure in your life in order to put you first, to make sure that you can achieve the things you want to achieve and that you're doing things that you may not necessarily feel like doing because you know that in the end it's going to help you achieve your goals. So like the walk example I used, some days I wake up and I'm feeling really tired and I had a bad dream or I'm just like not feeling it and would rather stay in bed, but my routine is I get up and I go for a walk because ultimately I know that that morning walk will make me feel better no matter how I feel when I get up. A routine is a form of self-care because you're putting structure in place that will help you feel better. Making time for yourself, prioritizing yourself, keeping a promise to yourself and showing up every day for yourself. As we've said, it doesn't have to be something that takes a tremendous amount of time. You don't have to get up at 5 a.m. and have a productive morning routine if you don't feel like you want to do that. You don't have to have like a really aesthetic, relaxing evening routine. I just know I turn off my laptop at a particular time and I know that I journal every evening. That is enough of a routine for me. Obviously there are other things like you want to shower or you want to brush your teeth, wash your face, do your makeup. Those things will be part of your routine. It doesn't have to be very structured. If you like lots of structure, you can be like, I wake up at this time every morning, then I do this, then I do this. But it doesn't have to be that formal. I certainly don't have a specific morning routine aside from I go for a walk every morning and that's like a non-negotiable for me, and same in the evening, I do my journaling. Another point that I would add to this is that if you have a routine, when you start to fall out of it, it becomes quite obvious that maybe you're not doing so well. I know that I journal every night, but if I suddenly realise, oh, I didn't do that last night, what happened there? Oh, I was feeling really sad and I was just binge watching TV, or maybe it was chatting with my friends, or I was really absorbed in this book I was reading. That's why I didn't do my journaling routine. Like, it's a way of very easily checking up on yourself. So I can see, oh, hang on, I didn't do that yesterday, why? And if it's, oh, I was reading, fine. But if it's like, oh, I wasn't feeling great, I'm like, that's something to keep an eye on there because this is something that I know is good for me and makes me feel good. So if I stop doing that, what's happening there? It can act as like a warning sign, a red flag, just to be like, hey, is everything okay here? Having that routine, when you start falling out of those habits that you've made, that can be a very early indicator that can help you to catch your bad moods straight away because you're like, hang on, I normally do this and I didn't. Why didn't I do that? So that's another reason why I think having a routine can be really helpful. Sometimes it shows in your space or in your habits before you realise that you're not feeling so great. I know for me, it will start showing in my room or in the way that I'm taking care of myself, that I'm not feeling so good before I actually can acknowledge, oh yeah, I've not been feeling great over the past few days. I will see it before I will allow myself to feel it, if that makes sense. So having a routine means that I have something tangible that I can look at and be like, oh, why didn't I do that? I'm not feeling great, am I? That's something I need to keep an eye on. Having a routine doesn't need to be a big deal, doesn't need to take a massive amount of your time. Pick a time of day that suits you, evening or morning. I think it's just important to have some time where you know that you can have time for yourself. I hope this has encouraged you to take some time for yourself and to start a routine of your own. Or if you already have your habits in place, I hope this has confirmed to you and reassured you that you're on the right track and that having a routine is a good idea. It can be really helpful and a form of self-care. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you an evening person, a morning person? Are you someone who can get up at 5 a.m. and you love it? I don't know if I would ever be able to do that. Thank you so much for watching. God bless, and I will see you in the next one.